This is the Sunday Business Page with Jon Delano.
Good morning, I'm Jon Delano. Welcome to another edition of the Sunday Business Page. And our very, very special guest this morning is Tim Murtaugh, who was the former communications director for President Trump's re-election campaign in 2020 and is the grandson of Danny Murtaugh that many of us have very fond memories of. Tim, thank you so much for being with us. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having me, John. It's good to see you again.
I wanted you on the show not to talk about President Trump or to talk about the Pittsburgh Pirates, although that may come up, but because of a very interesting and important book that you have just written. You want to hold the book up for folks to see. It's entitled Swing Hard in Case You Hit It by Tim Murtaugh. Tim, tell me, this is a personal story of you and your battle with alcoholism, even just before working for former President Trump. Tell us a little bit about this story.
Yeah, it's unlike any political book that you or anybody else has ever read, I would think. It traces my story, and I went from waking up in jail to flying on Air Force One in less than 4 years. So it's about two things. It's about politics, yes, and a lot of the things that come from the Trump campaign in 2020, a lot of stories that no one's ever heard before. But it's also about my decades-long struggle with alcohol. And I took my last drink on May 16th, 2015, and joined the Trump campaign in February of 2019. And so when I was working for President Trump, I was less than 4 years removed from my last arrest. And I told the president and his whole team about my background. And they all said that, even including the president, he likes comeback stories, he likes redemption stories, and he blames alcohol for the death of his brother, and he himself never takes a drink. And so everyone said, glad to have you aboard. And this is my story, looking back on that. And I thought, I went to rehab 5 times, and every time I was in there, I went to the bookstore a lot, and I picked out a lot of the books that were written by people who were telling their own stories, the way that the trouble that they got into because of their addiction, whether it was alcohol or something else, and then how they made it through. And they wrote books about it. And I thought, I want to write one of those because these books helped me. And if I can do that, if somebody picks up this book and flips through it for 10 minutes, and in those 10 minutes, they don't take a drink, well, then it was worth writing.
Tell me about the title, because it sounds like a baseball title, Swing Hard in Case You Hit It.
Right.
Does it come from your grandfather? Is there some connection to the Pirates?
Well, not directly. I do come from a baseball family. As you mentioned, my grandfather was manager of the Pirates for 15 years and won the World Series twice, 1960. There's the 1960 Pirates right behind me on the wall. And 1971 also. Clemente was on both those teams. But my father was also a baseball player, and he was a player and catcher and a manager in the Pirates AAA. I made it up to AAA. He was behind a young fella named Manny Sanguillen, and so I don't know if he was ever going to leapfrog Manny to become the #1 catcher. So anyway, so we come from a baseball family, and every day when I was a kid, every day when I would leave the house to go to baseball practice, my father, joking, would say, "Hey, swing hard in case you hit it," right? And then I think so that phrase has stayed with me. And I actually think it's a pretty good philosophy for life, because if you're engaged in any kind of activity, you really want to put your best effort into it, because if you succeed, your success will be greater if you really tried, right? Put some effort into it. So swing hard in case you hit it. I like the title, and I think you can apply it to a lot of things.
We only have about a minute left, Tim, but there's so many others in this society. We all know either members of families or friends who fight the alcohol addiction. Is there a message in your book to those folks and to their loved ones?
Yeah, that anything is possible. I mean, I was really, really in desperate. The day I woke up in jail, I was facing almost 3 months in jail if I had been convicted of what I had just been arrested for, and I was going to lose everything. But I made it through. I persevered. I decided I was going to change my life. Now, this is not a how-to manual. This is not going to tell everybody, here's how you do it. It's just my story. And, maybe people can take some things out of it and apply it to their own lives. People find some things in here that remind them of themselves, maybe. And I just hope it helps people. It's available on Amazon right now.
Well, you answered my last question. It's available on Amazon. I'm sure you can.
Amazon and any other retailer, Target, Walmart, Barnes & Noble, all the places.
Well, Tim Murtaugh, thank you so very much for being with us. I should point out that the book also contains little vignettes about President Trump and the campaign. So for political guys, it's a good read. Thank you again, sir, for being with us. I really appreciate it.
John, thank you.
And thank you for watching this edition of the Sunday Business Page. Have a great Sunday, everybody.